this game started. And the Gamecocks will kick it away to start. He'll bring it out. It's Hawkins. The coverage team maintains his discipline, not much doing on that return. This is what we expected. This crowd ready to make its presence known. Handoff from the gun. Out of the crowd, and now he's got room. There he goes. They stay aggressive and push their way out to the 33, and it's first down.
This guy's got a lot of tools in his toolbox toting the rock, man. He showed you right there. And when I think back to Florida running backs, Emmitt Smith, all-time great. But a guy I played with in Gainesville, Fred Taylor. He was so big, but so fast for a guy his size. He just caused so many problems for the defenses we faced. And I think in the SEC today, you have got to be able to run the football if you're going to win games. And this guy right here, he's going to give the Gators a chance.
The offense setting up shop at the 46, first and 10. Dropping back, it's Lagway. Fires to the wideout. Intercepted, and the first drive ends with a pick. Just a small return, but a big play as they have it now at the 45.
Not the start this kid was looking for. Very first pass of the day gets picked off. This is a defense that's got a lot of ball hawks on the back end, and he's got to be real careful with his eyes, not telegraph throws like he did right there. He's going to have to settle in.
Looking to throw on first down. The short hands, it's Harvard. He snagged it, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. Good, solid pickup on that play. They'll run it from the gun. He's going to lose a yard on that one.
You just need more from your offensive line. Second and short like that, you'd love to be able to fire off the ball and pick that up running it, but the defense was able to get penetration. They were able to get a stop, and now you set up third down, and this offensive line's going to have to play up.
There he goes. Touchdown, Gamecocks. Once he got some room, it was over.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the time to be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone. That was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? Coming out with it, it's Hawkins. Stopped at the 26, brought it out in the end zone, picked up an extra yard. Opening play of this drive comes from the 26-yard line. Back to throw, it's Lagway. Picked off, what a play to set him up. They make the tackle after the turnover, but hang on just a second. There's a flag on the field. Let's see if it stands. As a defense, you hate to let them move the chains on a penalty, but that's what they did. It's first and 10. Hand off from the shotgun. Good pickup on that play. It'll bring up second and 4.
It's going to be important this offensive line is able to get a little bit of push. Just got to give this guy an inch, a little crease, and he can make yards for him.
The Gators can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. The toss sweep to the right. And with that stop, we are headed toward the end of the first quarter. The offense wastes no time getting the timeout call. Throws to the wideout. Intercepted. A first-half turnover can swing momentum. And after the interception return, he gets it down to the 32-yard line. We reach the break. It's South Carolina holding the lead. Guys, let's have a look at the stats as we've played one period. Lots of time left and ready to go back at it here in the second quarter. So first down here as they go back to work. The offense changing the play. Looking to throw, it's Sellers. Hauls it in. Makes the tackle right at the 21-yard line. Pickup of 10 on the play, and his offense is threatening with a first down.
That is an excellent throw by the quarterback, finding the window between the zones and delivering that ball on time.
Just on the edge of the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 21. Looking for a physical attack from the gun.
And, man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
He'll be hauled down just inside the 10 at the 9 as they're trying to turn this into a score. He's looking to pass. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
And this offense shows right away on first down. They're willing to pass down here. Does this soften them up a little bit for the run here on 2nd down and goal?
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Back to pass. Floating away. Got away from trouble and got rid of it. And the catch along the sideline will come up a little short of the first down.
Well, short completion setting up 3rd down now. Who is your best playmaker that you can target in this area of the field?
They'd love to make this short field pay off with a touchdown instead of settling for 3, but it is 3rd and goal. Finds his big tight end. He did not make it a stone wall on 3rd down. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half.
Timeout, South Carolina.
No hesitation from this head coach. He will go for it on 4th and goal from the 1. Quarterback keeper. And he rolls into the house. Touchdown, South Carolina.
And how big is that for this offense? Put a nice drive together, get the touchdown, add to this lead already. Everything right now, Palmer, going their way.
Yeah, that was as good a 2-minute type situation as you could have offensively. And David, they've got so many weapons on this offense. They practice these situations all the time, and they put it to work here at the end of the first half.
And the extra point was good to finish things off. They want to get the ball right back here in the first half. They've got the lead and going for the onside kick. And a few anxious moments, but the hands team is able to fall on it. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Through the air, it's Lagway. Got it in the middle, it's Hansen. Really good concept there to get things going and use the tight end early.
Yeah, I mean, just such a great job on first down, setting up an easier 2nd down. Understanding I don't always have to push the ball down the field, but see the tight end, make the throw. No, it's not a big gain, but makes life really easy on me on 2nd down.
Get it down to the 28-yard line. It is a first down, and they have to show some urgency here. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Now on the move at the 28-yard line on first down. Looking downfield on first down. A strike downfield. And he strides his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida!
It took them some time, but finally here at the end of the first half, they were finally able to get it right and score a touchdown. You know, I think oftentimes as an offensive coordinator, you've scripted your first 10 plays, things aren't working, you're looking for formations, you're looking for schemes you can run to finally break through, and that last drive might be what this offense needs to finally turn the corner. We'll see in the second half.
They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. From inside his own 15, trying to follow his blockers. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. This late in the half, here's the question. How aggressive will the play calling be? Wants to throw on first down. Got his man out of the backfield. All the way out across the 45-yard line, marking out of bounds at the 46.
And that's why this guy is such a weapon in this offense, because you don't have to throw it far downfield. Just get the ball in his hands. He catches it close to the line of scrimmage, but look what he was able to do after the catch. He gets an explosive play for this offense.
Quarterback may change this route. Looking to pass. It's Sellers. Rushes on him. Looking to scramble. Trying to escape and get it. Turning it on. They'll ride him out of bounds after the good pickup spotted at the 25-yard line. Just a few seconds remaining here as they try to put something up before halftime. To the air on first down. Quickly complete. Oh, it's out! And this fumble will squirt out of bounds. They'll immediately call timeout. They'd love nothing better than to add a 3-ball here before the break. The holder will kneel at the 24, a 34-yarder coming from the right hash. That thing would have hit a string in the middle of the uprights. Perfect. And that lead grows even bigger. So that's going to do it here in the first half. Stay tuned for the halftime break. Go ahead and roll the dice to start this second half. They're lined up for an onside kick. Few anxious moments there, but the hands team true to its name as they make the grab and get the ball.
Man, how about that? You come out of the locker room, you just had a little bit of a break, you rested, you told your club we're going to come out, and now we're going to be aggressive. We're going to kick it onside, even though we're winning and you failed. Now this defense better step up and respond.
Catch in the middle, it's Smith. Brought down at the 20-yard line after ripping off the big play.
One of the things I love about the passing game we've seen on offense so far here is just how good the decisions have been by the quarterback. He's not being too greedy. When the shot plays have been there, he's taken them, and they've scored points because of that, but he just takes what the defense gives him, and you're just whittling away, and you're marching the ball down the field. Really good decisions by the QB.
And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down.
Well, this defense knew coming in they were going to see some RPO and they were going to see some quick game. A nice job there taking the throw away from the quarterback.
Backed up now, here's second and long. Quarterback making adjustments. Scanning the field, it's Sellers. Grabbed over the middle, it's Harvard. They get him down, but this offense is set up first and goal from the 9. The Gamecocks racing to the line in a hurry-up. He'll do it himself. He's got it down to the 1-yard line right on the doorstep of Pater.
And you're seeing his dynamic ability to run the football. That time on the option play, I know he doesn't pick up the first down, but that's still a good chunk of yardage, and the defense wasn't ready for it. Moving forward, expect the offense to go back to the option play.
Sneaks into the end zone.
And that's what makes this quarterback so dangerous, fellas. He can hurt you throwing the ball. Man, is he ever dangerous and explosive with his feet. You have got to be able to get this guy on the ground. If you don't, he has got way too much wiggle and speed. You saw it right there.
The kick is up and good and put one more on the lead. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And it was finished off with the quarterback sneak. Kickoff unit getting some extra work as this lead has really grown. He'll bring it out. It's ball. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They come to the line for the first play of the drive, snapping it from the 21. Running back searching for a hole. And he fights his way forward, gets away from one, but not much doing on that one. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Oh, they're after him. And the quarterback caught up to and sacked at the 12.
Play-action pass success has a lot to do with selling that fake. You could tell defense was not buying it, got in the backfield, got the big play.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. He lobs one high down the left side. And it's incomplete. Good play downfield by the DB.
Well, after struggling so much in the first half, you thought they would have made some adjustments here at halftime to see if they can open up this passing game. But early on in the second half, you're just not really able to get that done. Incompletion on 3rd down in your own end, you're expecting them to punt.
And the Gators will come to the line to convert on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Makes the grab, got the conversion, and still going. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half.
Timeout, Florida.
Time winding down in the quarter as they come to the line. To the air, it's Glagway. The sweet feet buy a little time. And the ball's loose. Oh, and a burst disaster by falling on his own fumble. No question they wanted to get the ball to their playmakers, and both receivers have come up big through 3. Just about ready to go in the 4th, and we'll see if any drama can be mustered. They'll go back to work with a 1st down in the final period. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Moves around to clear up the vision. Got a man. It's Jackson. Several defenders get an assist on that tackle.
And that's exactly what this defense needs to do. The clock is your friend. Try to keep them in bounds. No big plays, and let that clock just tick.
The Gators can really attack on this 2nd and short. Looking to fire. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops. Just not in sync. And that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
Grab near the marker. It's Livingston. Picks up enough to give them 1st and 10 from the 13.
Well, look, that wasn't a touchdown, but that was a massive play for this offense. They needed some momentum. They needed to find a rhythm, and what better way than converting on 3rd down. Awesome job by the quarterback getting through his progression.
It's incomplete. He was shooting for the end zone right there.
And that's just the kind of game it's been for this quarterback and this offense. You got a great game plan all week long. You're watching it throughout practice. You think you're going to have a chance to light up the scoreboard, but they're just not able to hook up. You've got to give this defense a ton of credit. They've done a great job in coverage. They've been breaking on passes. They've had their number, and that's why they're leading by as much as they are.
And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete.
And I absolutely love what this defense is doing, man. You know exactly what time it is. You've got a big lead. They're going to have to throw the football. So more nickels, more dimes, bring the speed on the field, and get ready to play the pass.
Back to throw, it's Lagway. Got the big pause on it, but couldn't hang on. Instead, it'll be 4th down.
And that's kind of what we've seen from this offense all game long. It's been hard. It's been a struggle, and receiver and quarterback just not on the same page. Somebody out wide needs to step up, needs to make some plays for their QB because they're in a huge hole, and they need some explosive passing plays.
On 4th down, they're taking to the air. Looking to the end zone. Touchdown, Gators! Snagged in the end zone to give them 6.
Nice job by the offense going down the field, putting points on the board, but you're still down a couple possessions. Still need some good things to happen. You need your kicker to go over there and get warmed up. We need an onside. We need to score some points. We need a lot of things to go right to win this football game.
And they'll try to tack on 2. Takes a snap, wants to throw. Starting to feel a little pressure. They've got the 2-point conversion, and now they trail by only 9.
Well, that's what makes this guy so dynamic. Not only is he good using his legs out in the field, but down here close to the goal line, if things aren't open, he can get it in himself running it, and they do for 2 points.
They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. He'll bring it out. It's Harbor. Continues to fight for yards. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They'd love to put a long drive together here as they start from their own 21. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Outside the pocket, lets it go. Pulls it in, it's Smith. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This is what got this team in this position to win this game. Aggressive offense, taking shots. Here we are in the 4th quarter. They've got the lead. Why stop now?
Big chunk play to start this drive. Now they'll really try to take it to this defense. They'll run play action. Now sliding to his left. Finds a little space. Breaks into the open. And maybe they try to spy on the quarterback, but it just hasn't worked. Another 1st down. He just keeps gashing them with his feet. Use the play fake, now to throw. Looking to buy time. And it's intercepted, maybe breathing a little life into this team. Got some room to run. Finally brought down, but what a play, not only to get the football, but to flip the field position with the return.
That's just frustrating. You know, you're an offense, you're in a great position, you're up by 2 scores. All you do is take care of the football. Premium, taking care of the football. We're trying to run some clock. We're trying to get out of here with a W. Turning the football over is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Unloads to the wideout. He's got it. And he takes this one into the end zone, and all of a sudden, we've got a chance at a finish.
And listen, still a ways to go, but great job by this offense getting you back in the ball game. Now, we got a one. Game. We got our score. We did what we're supposed to do. Now, how do we get this stopped? Now, the defense has to come up big and get me the rock back.
And with the extra point, every little bit counts as they get closer. That drive not too taxing on the playbook. One play, put it in the end zone just like that. They're sending out the regular kickoff unit, and even with 2 timeouts left, I think they're going to sit there on defense and watch the clock hit 0 if they do this. From inside his own 15, looking for a... And he loses the football on the return. Grabbed by the kicking team.
Man, this kickoff coverage team, they just get to the ball carrier. They are flying around. They're beating their blocks. And the ability to create a turnover on a special teams play like this, and that is massive. And now it sets them up in great field position.
Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. And good coverage and better hands on that shot to the end zone.
Well, this defense is still playing so hard here late in the game in the fourth quarter. Offense taking a shot into the end zone. Defender in incredible position, and he's able to knock that one away incomplete.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Back to throw, it's Lagway. Grabbed in the middle, it's Hansen. Offense will use a timeout. 19 seconds left in the game. You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on second down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a quarterback that's a game manager. No, use your brain. Set up good situations. I'm way more successful when I can keep those sticks at a more manageable situation, and I'm not as predictable on third down.
They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down. Timeout is called by the offense. 16 seconds left in the game. So this is going to be rife with drama and overflowing with pressure on this field goal try. And this one to put them on top, and it is getting late. And that is no good. And with that miss, still down by a deuce and missing an opportunity to take the lead. Opening snap of this drive comes from the 31-yard line. Here comes the option. They can't corral the pitch. The ball's on the ground. And what a break to get that football back. At this juncture, that would have been catastrophe. Timeout on the field and 4 ticks left to go. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Now the play fake. Dances away to buy time. He'll pull it down. That will be the final play as they make the stop, and the clock has expired here. You want to talk about building confidence? Coming through with clutch plays, making the winning plays at the right time can really set the course for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Reese, maturity and experience matters, and this team has guys that have played a lot of snaps. They've seen a lot of looks, and they've lost close games like this in the past. That wasn't the case today, David. Too many guys out there making big-time plays.
And I think belief is what you build. That confidence, you know you're going to win. You don't think you're going to win. You know you're going to make that play in the big moment that continues to build on week-to-week success. And you look up and you're like, dang, we strung a couple wins together.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.